starting in the new year. How do you feel? How are you feeling about the lineup and how you guys played tonight?
First person I want to say was Jesus Christ. Feel good. You know, it's good to be able to start the year with a win. You know, we just got to continue to build off of it. It was definitely a great defensive effort by us. You know, staying with the game for 48. And, you know, now we have a really tough challenge. 3 games on the road.
So, Brian, would you say defense was the mainstay for this victory here?
For sure, for sure. You know, staying with it. You know, they made a lot of tough shots, threes, easy dunks in the paint, offensive rebounds, and you know we just did a good job of staying with it, even when they went on that run and closing the game out. That's 5-6 minutes.
What's it do for you guys when Sato's filling up the box score like you did tonight?
It's great. I always tell them. I told somebody last, I forgot who I was talking to. They said he's a glue guy. I said he's not a glue guy. I hate that word because of games like tonight. Because he's able to fill up the stat sheet. He's able to have that much of an impact in the game to where he's not just limited to 1 or 2 things. You know, he's capable of doing everything. He's a point guard, so we trust him to be able to go out and make plays, shoot it with confidence, and guard his guys. So you know, we just need to continue to be aggressive. And always just tell him, man, if you're open, shoot it, be aggressive, you know, be the check Sato we need you to be.
Brad, when you guys are playing now without Wall, and you're going to have to play without Wall for the rest of the year. So far, I guess so good. What's the key to winning without a superstar?
Everybody has to step up. That's the key. It's not like it's just on me. It's not like it's just on Otto or you know whoever. It's everybody. It's collective, coaches included. So everybody has to step up and be better. We all have to be better. We know how much weight he carries. You know his importance to this franchise and this team. So. You know, we're definitely going to miss him. We hate that he's out. You know, we're not sitting there saying we're a better team without him. That's far from the truth. You know, so we got to. But reality is reality. We have to realize, accept the fact that he won't be with us this year, and we got to do our best and make a run at it.
Speaking of that, with kind of a small margin of error, how important is it to limit turnovers and the amount of times you're sending teams to the free throw line, as you guys have done this past few games?
That's key, you know, for both of those. Being able to guard without fouling and limiting our turnovers, especially against teams who are able to convert, especially against these next 3 teams we play who are really, really good at getting out on the break. So we got to make sure that we take care of the ball. It's imperative, myself included, and making sure that we get a shot up every time.
Brad, what does having Otto back do for you guys and give you a lift even when he's playing limited minutes?
No, for sure. You know, it keeps the defense honest. You know, especially if we're on the floor together. You know, you can't double me so easily. You know, because you're going to leave shooters open with Trev and Otto and Jeff, and so you know, no matter who's out there, especially when Otto's out there, they have to stay true to guarding guys the right way. And if they don't, they're going to get burned.
You talked about next man up and Brian's bringing a lot of energy and just performing. What does that say about that?
It's awesome. I've told him since day one, ever since we traded for him, to come in and be that guy, be energetic. You know, ever since I first seen him, I played pickup with him in the summer, and we just clicked instantly. Everything he did was hard, aggressive. He was an active learner, and it just carried over through the year. And I told him last year at this time we weren't in this position. I said, so you just got to take advantage of it. He's embracing it, and little does he know we need him, and we feed off the energy he gives us. I tell everybody his shit talking, and him, whatever he does out there, it gets me going. So I need him to keep doing it.
So when you guys go on the road, how important is that? Because I mean, it's gonna be like taunting. I know that some arenas have been hard already with all.
Yeah, our biggest challenge is trying to win on the road. So I think whatever we've been doing. Previous games we need to change our routines, whatever they may be, and try to turn things around. We have a great test this weekend, with these 3 teams and playing Philly back to back. So it's amazing for us. I think it's a good test for us and a good battle for us. Looking forward.
Justin's so good from the corners. He's like 50% on the threes this year. Why do you think he's been so successful, specifically on those shots?
He works on it every day. Besides that, but he has a lot of mismatches, so he's open a lot. He passed up a couple of nights, and I was mad at him because he didn't shoot him. But and And the corner's the closest three-pointer on the floor. So maybe that's why.
Good evening, everyone. Man, it feels good to be back in studio. Happy New Year to everyone.
Yes.
We got Octavia Wyatt here, Wilson Tarpe Jr. Cardell's not with us, but he provided us more than enough content in his absence. So we're going to be taking care of that. And shout out to him for a lot of the new graphics, you guys. If you've seen some of them already, you're going to see a lot more throughout the evening. But a couple quick thoughts last night. We've been watching the same episode or the same, I guess, soap opera.
Yeah.
in
Telenovela.
college. Yeah, of they call it the NCAA National Championship in college football. But Clemson, Alabama, round 70. I think it's only like round 3 or 4, but still, these are the two teams we continue to see here. Clemson 44. Alabama didn't get to 44. They had 16. It got bad. It got bad pretty quick. It started off kind of exciting, like back to back.
Right, yeah.
Then you had that fourth down that they weren't able to get, and Clemson ran off. They outscored Alabama 17-3 in the second quarter. They took a nice lead at the half, and then Alabama did not score again. Sunshine and company handled business.
Yes, Sunshine. That's exactly what I thought when I saw him. I was like,
He went to work. But I don't want to get too crazy. A lot of people like already anointing Trevor Lawrence already. And I know we like to go crazy about things, in this day and age. But shout out to the kid, played a good game, true freshman or whatnot. It wasn't some coming of age type performance for me. It was a good performance. What jumped off the page to me was Clemson, once again, has another trio of NFL wide receivers. They continue to do this. I don't know. I've yet to name them. Personally, which one's Mike, which one's DeAndre, and whatnot. But they did it again, man. And the other thing in this battle is, it's kind of like the barometer we've seen in the past and going forward. Whichever team kind of has like the more senior laden or upperclassmen laden defensive line usually leads to good things. This year it was Clemson. Most of Alabama's front seven is playing for the NFL on assorted teams. From the last 2 years, they went to the draft this year. They're not at school anymore.
yeah, they're gone, guys.
Quentin Williams was surrounded by some younger players. And again, this is no excuses because Alabama got outcoached as well. But your thoughts on the game?
I'm gonna be honest. Like after halftime, I kind of like fell asleep because it was just like you said. It started off really good, like the back to back. I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna be a shootout. What's gonna happen?
Right.
And then was sorely disappointed with that. But like you said, Sunshine, that's his name, and that's what I'm gonna call him. He did play a really good game. Like a lot of his passes were just like on point. I saw that he had because me personally, I don't watch a whole lot of college football, but had to watch this, of course.
That's most people though.
Yeah, to me, it's just so many games. They be so long. They be scoring like 100 points. I'm like, what is happening?
And they all don't really count depending on what conference you're in.
So I was just like, okay. But like his accuracy was really well, and that's the one thing that I like shot out at me. I was like, oh, he's putting the ball like where it needs to be at that precise time. So I think it was a great performance. I do agree with you with, the masses anointing him the next best thing, next to sliced bread. I think he will be good. Like you said, he's a true freshman. So he has a great upside right now, especially with that performance and leading them to the championship. But, I still feel like, he still probably has some things he wants to work on. There's still a lot of things that I'm sure he's going to get better in. It's a great first-year performance for him. You couldn't dream of anything better than being a true freshman and leading your team to a national championship against Alabama and blowing them out.
It's not a bad
first year at all. So I only expect better things from him now. So you always got to remember, you set the bar so high, you got to continue to live up to that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it pans out next year for them. And then, like you said, the wide receivers, it's like you can't pick one to try to double. you got to pick your poison at this point. So I think it was an all-around great win for them, especially, defending national champions, to go in there and embarrass them like that.
Yeah, that's
the thing. It wasn't that it was a close game. It wasn't like they just eked it out and, they won by the skin of their teeth or anything like that. Like, they outplayed them from top to bottom, from beginning to end. And it was to the point where I wish that there was some type of like graph or some type of survey that showed like how many TVs turned off after like a certain point. Because at one point it was like, okay, like enough. Like, is there not a mercy rule? There's not. But come on, it was bad, but it was good for them. So I mean, it was what it was. They don't play for the fans to watch and be enjoyed by a close game. They don't want that. They want to blow you out, get you up out of there as soon as possible, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a typical college football game in national championship, which we've been spoiled the past couple of years, seeing really good games. It does make it interesting because now if round 4 or 5 next year comes, Alabama's going to be a little bit more seasoned, but a lot of the good players on the offensive side of the ball for Clemson are very young. They are going to lose some very, very good players from that defensive line, like Christian Wilkins. Farrell's leaving as well to go on to the NFL draft. Wilkins is a beast. But yeah, I mean, the other thing you saw Tua, that life hit you real quick,
real fast.
Last year the darling, everything was wonderful. This year for the most part, and this is kind of the thing where I know like people talk about great coaches a lot, and this is what I like. I was talking to my cousin earlier. He said something really interesting to share with you guys. Just like this is one of the things why Bill Belichick is kind of on a different level when people start throwing Saban into the Belichick into that world. Bill will adjust. Nick did not. It cost Nick bad. They stayed in man to man. They got smoked. They couldn't. It was just bad. So we're gonna move on to the Wizards. Washington closed 2018 with a win over the Charlotte Hornets. It was a good win. Things got kind of interesting late. They made it extremely interesting. Kemba went off for 47, but Washington was able to hold things down and secure the W to close out the year. They opened 2019 with the win over the Atlanta Hawks. It was a very well-balanced affair. Got a lot of help. Obviously with John, a lot of people expect it's going to be a lot falling on Brad's shoulders, but even with Otto still out at that time, you got an aggressive Satoransky. Thomas Bryant continues to get better. So good performances from the group. Jeff Green had a very good game that night as well. They're at the end of a road trip. They're currently 1-1. They looking at the update of this game. I can feel you looking over here. Someone's going to say
currently.
So it looks like they're going to 1-2 on this road trip.
Yes.
Unless they have a big second half because they are down to Philly. They got off to a good start, but they're trailing 68-45 at the half.
Yes, guys, 68-45. Just so make sure.
And that was after starting the game on a 12-4 run. But, again, they started the trip falling to Miami. They went to Oklahoma City and beat the Thunder soundly in Oklahoma City. Very, very good win.
Very good win.
And a lot of that had to do with, one, Otto came back against Atlanta, but he's still coming off the bench, seems to still be on a minutes restriction. But they dominated the boards, and that's something we've been talking about all year. One of the barometers for the Wizards, if you want to know how they're doing on any given night, turnovers and rebounds. To give you an idea. It's hard to believe that you did this to a team with Steven Adams in the paint, but 55-41 on the glass is what they did to Oklahoma City. It was a team effort. A lot of people got in there and hit the glass. And what I was going to say is that same type of effort was going to be needed against Philly tonight.
I was going to say.
That's what I was going to say.
Retract that statement.
No, that still applies. But, they got to have to tighten that up. Because Philly's a tough, that's another tall order to deal with. They got a rough week here. Washington does. Philly tonight on the road in Philadelphia. They host Philly tomorrow. Giannis and company come on Friday. You got Kawhi and them on Sunday. That's a tough week right there.
Yeah, and it is all Eastern Conference games too, so that makes it even that much more tougher. Of course you want to play well against every team, but especially in the East, you keep going further and further down and out of the playoff picture. So,
and that's going to be the interesting part with this team is like a lot of people Tate maybe they end up with like a top 5 pick or something like that. I think they kind of like that middle ground place because I think obviously Otto would return to health, get more minutes. it's going to be hard for a team with like Brad and Otto and as currently constructed to like outright, like truly tank.
Yeah.
So, be interested to see how that goes, but it's a tough week. Tall order. We'll see how things go. Stay with us as always at the Focus TV for updates throughout the week. Thank you again for your support for pregame chats. Hope you guys enjoyed those as much as we remembered to do them. And also announced earlier today, Devin Robinson of the Go-Go. He was with the team in Philly and active for tonight's game. We'll check in a little bit. He may be playing if things don't get any better tonight.
That's what's up.
But for the Go-Go, the Westchester Knicks, that's the official G League affiliate of New York Knicks. They forced overtime, but they were unable to do anything more as they fell to the Capital City Go-Go 90-89 on Sunday. And this was on the road at the Westchester County Center. It was the Go-Go's third straight win. Jordan McCray is acting a fool. He's averaging 33 points during this stretch for Capital City, while Devin Robinson, we just talked about him being called up, is averaging 24 points and 11 rebounds. They look to make it 4 in a row tonight against the Texas Legends, and that game started at 7, the same time as their parent team started playing. Octavia.
They are doing the same thing their parent team is on, but not by as much. It's currently 67-59 with 8 minutes, 56 seconds left in the third.
Okay, and some other news with the Go-Go. They had an acquisition today. Well, not today, but yesterday. They signed Duje Dukan via the just out of the player pool, pretty much, kind of like akin to NBA free agency. To fill the roster spot of LaVoy Allen, Dukan is 6'10", 220-pound forward from Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin. He recently played for the Oklahoma City Blue this season. Again, that's the Thunder affiliate. The Croatian native, when drafted in 2015 NBA draft, signed by the Kings, the Windy City Bulls. We spent time with the Kings, Windy City Bulls, Reno Bighorns, and Fort Wayne Mad Ants. He's seen some time in the G League at several different places. But we got a lot left tonight. College basketball, we're back. It's like the first high school rankings of 2019. And Octavia, she's going to get started with these playoff stuff. I can't wait to turn my mic entirely off. We might as, we could have just came in here and just played Fly Eagles Fly.
We could have. I'm in that. I'm almost there. I'm not there yet.
I think the segment's supposed to be like 12, 13 minutes. I guess we could have put on a loop, walked out.
That would have been amazing, and then just go to the next. That's all we're talking about in NFL, guys.
Cool, great, wonderful, way to get there. So at least she's open about it this week. All right, so before we go to break, and let's take a first break of the night, shout out to Jamal Hayward, 9450 breakdown. The first one of 2019, this from the breakdown, Jamal Hayward at 9450. Breakdown of Carmelo Anthony punch step back with inside hand. I know you're excited about this.
You better.
Carmelo Anthony punch step back with inside hand. Get a quick break.
He better have his own little.
Stop it. You're going to take a quick break. On the other side of this, Octavia will be right back talking NFL.
First, it is right across my stomach. Okay, so watch. Now watch my feet. Step. So now that I put the ball on the floor, because my pivot foot is my left foot, I put the ball on the floor, stepping with the right, now I can move the left, okay? Don't circle, okay? Not here, so across, because normally if I open up and I drive to the basket, it's here when I go. So now I'm So I'm here, I open up, Zelda jab first, it is right across my stomach. Okay, so watch. Now watch my feet. Step. So now that I put the ball on the floor, because my pivot foot is my left foot, I put the ball on the floor, stepping with the right, now I can move the left, okay? Don't circle, okay? Not here, so across, because normally if I open up and I drive to the basket, it's here when I go. So now I'm
welcome back. And yeah, before I turn my mic all the way off for the next 12 to 13 minutes, unless otherwise prompted by Octavia,
You'll be
the,
back.
The floor is, I mean, yeah, in like 13 minutes.
No.
The floor is yours. So yeah, a lot happened in the NFL. I just had a brief shout out before you got started. Want to shout out Indianapolis Colts DB Pierre Desir. We had a pleasure interviewing him before, draft time, like some years ago. Been around the league for a little while. Finally got a really good opportunity in Indianapolis, and he was the guy who he made more than a few plays while guarding DeAndre Hopkins this week. If you wanted to know who that corner was, shout out to Pierre Desir. I'm sure you can Google it. I don't have the link, but yeah, shout out to him, man. Just happy to see him flourish, man. I remember he was a really fun guy to talk to, a really good interview. So shout out to him.
Yes, definitely. And like you said, we're definitely just going to go ahead and start with that game.
Hey, mic off.
But yeah, just like you said, so of course the NFL playoffs have begun. Wild Card Weekend was everything as it was supposed to be. Wild. It was completely wild. As far as the game, so we're going to go ahead and go in the order of the games were played. So I don't want you guys to think I'm being biased at any point.
Hey, look, man, they've been following up all season. They know. I feel like they know.
So
Rodney knows. They know.
The first game in Wild Card Weekend was the Colts versus the Texans. The Colts were victorious 21-17. Andrew Luck was 19 of 32 for 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 8 carries for 29 yards. Marlon Mack, 24 carries, 148 yards, 1 touchdown. T.Y. Hilton, 5 receptions for 85 yards. Dontrell Inman, 4 receptions, 53 yards. And Eric Ebron, 3 receptions for 26 yards and 1 touchdown. On the other side, we had Deshaun Watson, who was 29 of 49, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 8 carries for 76 yards. Lamar Miller had 5 carries for 18 yards, 8 receptions for 63 yards. Kiki Kuti, which is just, I can't say that 5 times fast, but 11 receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdown, and DeAndre Hopkins, 5 receptions for 37 yards. So the Colts started off fast, and they never looked back. It was top to bottom, just Colts from the beginning to the end. I think the one thing that I paid attention to a little bit more and gave maybe a little bit slack, a lot of people probably won't give, but to Deshaun Watson, although he is a very, very, very good quarterback, he's a very dynamic quarterback, he's one of those mobile quarterbacks, I still consider him a rookie. I still feel like in the playoffs, he doesn't have any experience. He barely has a lot of experience when it comes to even playing in pivotal games just because he did get that ACL injury so early into the year last year. So I still consider this year as his rookie season. And it showed, it didn't look great at times. There were a couple of times where I just felt like he was being a little bit extra with the whole, he got the first down. I'm like, it's like 20-0. Like, I need you to calm down slightly. But it is what it is at that point. You got to be excited about what you can do at that time. But the Colts scored touchdowns on their first 2 possessions. Their defense showed up, sacked Watson 3 times, and knocked him, quarterback hits 8 times. He was sacked 12 times this year in the 2 games that they played against the Colts this year. So I'm sure he was already running for his life before the game even started. The Texans had 322 total yards and was 3 for 13 on third downs. You're never going to win games like that. You have to convert the third downs, and they didn't, point blank period. Jadeveon Clowney, J.J. Watt weren't as impactful as they needed to be because Marlon Mack was running all over the field. 148 yards, 24 carries, had a touchdown. They could not stop him. T.Y. Hilton has the Texans' number. Although he did not score, he made multiple important catches that they needed in the game, and they ran away with it. It was what it was. There was times, the Texans looked like they may have a little bit of life, but it didn't happen. Couldn't stop the luck train, so the Colts are going to be playing against the Chiefs, who they've already beat this year. They did beat the Chiefs already this year, so that should be a very interesting game in Kansas City next week. Follow up the first Saturday game to the second Saturday game, which was against the Seahawks and the Cowboys. The Cowboys were victorious 24-22. Russell Wilson was 18 of 27, 233 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 carries for 14 yards and 1 touchdown. Rashad Penny had 4 carries for 20 yards. Carson had 13 carries for 20 yards. Tyler Lockett had 4 receptions for 120 yards, and Doug Baldwin had 3 receptions for 32 yards. On the Cowboys side of the ball, Dak Prescott was 22 of 33, 226 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 6 carries for 29 yards and 1 touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, 26 carries, 137 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 receptions, and 32 yards. Amari Cooper, 7 receptions, 106 yards. Gallup, 2 receptions, 18 yards, 1 touchdown. So I have to be petty. It's just...
I was going to say, you seem like you got through the first part of that, like with a cherry disposition. So.
You know, I have to be slightly petty.
Okay.
I mean, hats off to Jason Garrett for winning his second playoff game in his 9-year career in Dallas, you know. Sorry, but congratulations to them for winning, because it has been a while, and that's not even being funny. It has been a while for them. They'll probably say the same thing as well, to get past wild card weekend, get past the first round, and get a little bit deeper into the playoffs. Like you said, they're riding this wave of the last half of their season. I believe they're 8-9 in their last 9 games. You know, they haven't lost. They've been playing amazing, and it transpired into this game as well. Ezekiel Elliott is an animal. I mean, he says it every time, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I hate it. Every time he gets a first down, he does the whole little feed me thing. I'm like, okay, it was like cute the first year. I'm over it at this point. But you can't hate, because the Cowboys have finally realized the more you feed him, the more he's going to go, and the better your chances are of winning the game. 26 carries, 137 yards, and 4 receptions for 32 yards. He had a touchdown. He was everywhere. Everybody, of course, talked about all year, you know, giving up a first-round pick to get Amari Cooper. That's panned out. You know, they just look top to bottom amazing. I do think that within the game, the Seahawks were right there, so let's not just make it seem like they didn't play well at all, but they had a lot of miscues, a lot of missteps that were detrimental to them to try to win the game. And the injury with their kicker was probably something that really, really hurt them at that point as well. Even with that late score that they did, they couldn't even really do an onside kick like they wanted to try to attempt to get the ball back, with Janikowski being injured on a 54-yard field goal that he kicked and missed, and injured, I believe, probably his hamstring or his groin. I'm not 100% sure. But at the end of the day, a W is a W, and the Cowboys are moving forward. Their defense was, amazing. You know, they kept their primary rushers for the Seahawks to under 30 yards. You know, even holding Russell as well, although he did rush for a touchdown, he had 3 carries for 14 yards. He averages more than that during games. So the Cowboys are looking good. They're going into LA next week to face the Rams at the Coliseum. I think that should be a really good game.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Will the mad genius, Sean McVay, do the most obvious thing in the world and keep running the ball?
Yes.
You think he will?
I think he will, until they prove they can stop it. If they prove they can stop it.
I'm just saying, there's been times this year when he doesn't keep running until they prove they can stop it. That's what I'm asking you.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I think now where they are from last year, you know, going out the way that they did, and I'm sure that they have a chip on their shoulder. You know, he's a young guy. I feel like he's good at adapting with things, especially in pivotal situations like this. And then you got to think about it. Yeah, Gurley had a little bit of an injury a couple games ago, like the last couple of games of the season, but he didn't play. Right. So he's been resting for 3 weeks at this point. Okay. You know, so he should be fresh. He should be able to continue to run at all costs.
Okay, so what's the ideal number of touches for looking at both of these backs, because they're so key, between Zeke and company to win? What's the ideal number of touches for him? The ideal number of touches for Gurley?
Zeke got to get at least 20. Okay. If not more. Okay. When he gets over 20, they usually do really, really well. Gurley, I would probably say around that as well, but I still think that in LA, their wide receivers are a little bit stronger than they are in Dallas, outside of Amari Cooper. Yeah, Gallup has, you know, shown some flashes lately. Cole Beasley is You know, he's that kind of like glue player too that does the dirty things and it's like that X factor player, but he's a little bit injured as well now. And you got to remember, Aaron Donald is a beast.
Oh yeah, that's gonna
He
be
coming
fun.
for everybody.
That's gonna be
So
fun.
you got to think about it. Dak holds the ball really long at times, and it don't take Donald that long to get to them. So he's going to have to. It's going to have to play. So that's why I think they're going to end up. Zeke is probably going to have more than 25 carries because he's going to have to get it out fast. If not, do the screen pass, and he's going to get a lot of receptions as well. So it's going to be an interesting game. I've heard a lot of Cowboys fans, they were excited. They want to play the Rams. You know, we had training camp in L.A. That's like our second home. So I'm excited to see y'all play at y'all second home
You're so petty.
and see what happens.
What's the next game? You're so petty.
So yesterday we had the Ravens and the Chargers, and the Chargers were victorious against the Ravens, 23-17. Lamar Jackson was 14 of 29, 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 9 carries for 54 yards. Edwards had 8 carries, 23 yards, and Crabtree 2 receptions, 38 yards, 2 touchdowns. Phillip Rivers, 22 of 32, 160 yards, 3 carries for 15 yards. Melvin Gordon, 17 carries, 40 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 reception for 3 yards. Williams, 2 receptions, 42 yards, and Keenan Allen had 4 receptions for 37 yards. I think it was just a good team win for the Chargers. I don't think anybody played amazingly.
I got the one guy who played amazing, if you would agree with me. Derwin James, I feel, is the reason they were able
I can agree.
to shut. I know Melvin Ingram got a lot of the love, obviously, because he was beating 74 like a drum.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I feel like Derwin being able to neutralize Lamar, like Derwin was literally playing linebacker.
Yeah.
That whole game, and they got away with it because he's a freak of nature. And even on like that play where Lamar got the stiff arm, how many safeties sideline to sideline are getting over?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
that's my-
agree. I
that's my
agree.
one guy.
I definitely agree. I think that they played really well, though. Their defense was off the charts. I mean, 7 sacks.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson had 3 fumbles, although he only lost 1, but he lost the most important one. But you know, they were just top to bottom. You know, everybody said, "Oh yeah, the Chargers haven't gotten enough love," and I will agree. It's hard to. I feel like it's not the fair weather fans' fault if they don't see a lot of Chargers games, because I feel like the league needs to give them a little bit more primetime games, because if you don't live in LA, it's hard unless you just a diehard Chargers fan from somewhere to really pay attention to it, or unless you're just a hardcore fan and you just watch everything that comes on.
Right.
But usually fans have their team that, okay, if my team play at 4 and your team play at 4, I'm gonna watch my team and I'm gonna watch our
There's
highlights.
one game being watched.
Exactly. So pretty much it's kind of hard for them to kind of get the love that they deserve, but I think that this playoff run will start to give people more of a look to look at, because even when you talk about LA now, all everybody talk about is the Rams.
Yeah.
They don't talk about the fact that the Chargers are in LA
Remember
as well.
back when they were 6-2, we were having that conversation?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Way back then?
Yep, Phillip Rivers has quietly, just done what he needs to do. I feel like in the past he's had a lot of doubters as well, but he stayed true. He's done what he needs to do, and they are continuously going through. And I will also say another person that I feel like is probably the reason they won the game. Shout out to the kicker. I mean,
Yeah.
5 field goals.
He did his job. And you talk about the kicker, now we're going to talk about something a little bit later.
Definitely, we are.
You had one job.
Yep.
You did it.
Yeah.
All 5 times. It was a game where even the great Justin Tucker missed.
And that's what I was going to say. I was like, although now Bagley did miss 1 field goal, but it was blocked. But my favorite kicker, I'm going to tell you, Justin Tucker is my favorite kicker. That's my man. Every fantasy, look, he on my team. I don't know about nobody else. I'm picking Justin Tucker, and I'm still going to pick him. But he missed his first postseason field goal since he's been in the league, which is first of all, an amazing thing to be a kicker in the postseason. I mean, he's won Super Bowl, and to have that type of resume is amazing. And for this to be the game to miss it, I'm sure that was hard for him as well. But 5 field goals, 1 block. The only question mark coming out of this game is Melvin Gordon did injure himself during the game. So right now, I believe they said his status is in question. I'm sure he'll play. I'm sure, it may hurt, but he's going to play more than likely. And they will go face the Patriots, which I'm sure they are so excited about. But that should be another good game. Tom Brady is Tom Brady, so it's kind of hard to bet against him. But the Chargers are on a good little roll right now, so I think this will be a really good game coming up next week as well. And to round off Wild Card Weekend, we had the Eagles versus the Bears. The Eagles were victorious, 16-15. Mitchell Trubisky was 26 of 43, 303 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 carries for 9 yards. Justin Howard had 10 carries, for 35 yards. Allen Robinson had 10 receptions, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. Gabriel had 4 receptions, 37 yards, 2 carries for 20 yards as well. And Tariq Cohen had 1 carry, no yards, 3 receptions for 27 yards. And on the other side of the ball, Nick Foles was 25 of 40, 266 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1 carry for -1 yard. Darren Sproles had 13 carries, 21 yards, 2 receptions for 14 yards. Alshon Jeffrey, 6 receptions, 82 yards. Golden Tate, 5 receptions, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. And Dallas Goedert, 2 receptions, 20 yards, 1 touchdown.
Well, what were you thinking when it's after they freeze them? What were you thinking?
I'm going to be completely honest. I was like, it's about to be over. I'm so sad. We're going to lose on a field goal? Like, really? Like, yeah, that was me.
Because I just want to know, because you know how people who, not you, but some fans would be like, oh, nah. All of a sudden the day after, all of a sudden they're experts on how many kicks Parkey's missed this year, where the only reason I knew he was a shaky kicker was I have several friends that are Bears fans, and they've been perfectly clear about this all year long.
See, the thing with that is, I know he was a shaky kicker as well because he used to play for the Eagles. He was our kicker.
Yeah, y'all know first. Wow,
we know firsthand he was our kicker. Oh. But in that point and in that time, it's a field goal. You always think a field goal is supposed to be automatic. This is what you do. You kick. You kick every day. You're supposed to make it. So in my head, I was just like, here we go. So we're gonna get to that part. But it seems like, again, with this Nick Foles magic, I like it, but I'm sad too because I'm like 99.9% sure he's not going to be an Eagle next year, and it kind of hurts my heart. I want him to be there because Carson is injury prone at this moment, and I need him there because I do not need Nate Sudfeld. I do not need him.
So you want Foles to stay there as a full-time security blanket?
Yes.
Cool.
He gets bonuses.
Postseason only.
Whatever he wants to do.
Go ahead, man.
Just stay. He get postseason bonuses. Winning that game, he got $1 million bonus.
Stop. What do you think about the way y'all young DBs played?
I think that for the most part, it was. First of all, I give them a lot of props because they've come a long way as the season has progressed. Because we lost basically our entire starting secondary unit outside of Malcolm Jenkins, like early. So to see them progress, because it was rough in the beginning, like really bad. To see them progress how they have it's very good to see. I can't think of the word I wanted to say, but it's very good to see that. It's good to see that they've been learning and they've been getting better each game and each week and each month, whatever you want to call it. But you can still see that there's so much more that they have to do. There were a lot of interceptions they left on the table, at least 2 that I can think off the top of my head right now, where those should have been picks, and we should have not even been in the situation where we were. But I give a lot of props to Jason Peters, who was on Khalil Mack duty all day, and he really held him at bay for majority of the game. Khalil Mack got one a little bit towards the end of the game, which is I was expecting that. I was surprised that Jason Peters not surprised, but I was happy that he was able to hold off and defend him so well as long as he did, because Khalil Mack is an animal, and Jason Peters is not a spring chicken. He is up there. You know, he gets hurt a lot, so I was really pleased to see that he was able to do that. I feel like the offensive line as a whole did well. I believe Nick only got sacked once, but he did have some errant throws. But the thing is, I feel like that's what he does, and I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing, if that's just his thing. It's like in the beginning of the game, you're like, okay, and then you're like, whoa, what's happening? And then it's like, oh, so you do know what to do. Every emotion up and down, that was me the entire game. So
that what you described is the Nick Foles experience.
Exactly, it is. It is. It's I don't know how to explain it. You know, he has his favorites when it comes to receiving, and you can say he doesn't, but he does. He can say he doesn't, but he does. Him and Alshon Jeffrey it's like automatic. And during the game, all they kept talking about was, you know, Nick played basketball, and Alshon played basketball. So they treat it like an alley-oop kind of thing where he just throws it up as, you know, because he knows that he can go up and get it, and that's the only place that they can get it to him. So it works, even though Zach Ertz didn't have a huge game against a Bears team that is known for being, you know, really good against opposing teams' tight ends. He still had his mark, you know, he still had some receptions in there. He still did what he needed to do. Dallas Goedert, the rookie, got a touchdown, which was a needed touchdown, as well as Golden Tate, who a lot of people had already said was a bust just because of all the different player personnel, and, you know, his skills are kind of the same skills as Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar has come on as of late, so do you want to take out Nelson and put in Golden? But they figured it out. That's all that matters. With the kick, I feel for Bears fans. I do. I really do. That was hard. That was hard to watch as an Eagle fan, and I couldn't imagine being a Bears fan in that stadium. I saw a gift of the mascot who was behind it, and he was like, and then he just fell over.
That's the only thing that was good. The internet was outstanding. Within 2 seconds after it hit the post,
and
the bird box, like the bird box meme, but.
And I mean, it's crazy because you know, Eagles fans are savages. That's not me, guys, but they are savages. They started Venmoing Cody Parkey money, saying thank you.
Shout out to the guy, because I don't think Venmo has verified accounts.
Exactly. So
shout out to the quick thinker who made some bread that night by simply
just saying, "Hey, I'm Cody Parkey."
Shout out to him.
Send me
Taking
some
advantage
money.
of other inebriated people.
Yeah, because I'm sure everybody out there was.
Because I saw that, I was like, I don't know if that's him, but okay.
Exactly. But also, you know, shout out to Cody Parkey, because in that situation, he still handled everything as a professional. Oh, yeah. You know, to be booed running off the field, I'm sure people probably threw stuff at him. People probably said a lot of explicitives to him and everything. So shout out to him. He answered every question during the interviews, in the post game, in the locker room, as a professional. He didn't say, get out my face, I don't want to talk to y'all, I just had the worst day of my life, or anything like that. He was a man about it. He was like, you know, I had one job, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and I feel terrible, you know. But upon further review of this kick, although, yes, it is still on Cody, it is not on him alone. Upon further review, there is an angle where the kick was actually tipped.
Yeah, either way.
That's what I'm saying. It was
tipped. For the ball to be that far over to the left, it was already about to be shanked.
But, you know, Eagles win 16-15. That's all that matters at the end of the day, and we will get our rematch with the Saints.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see what that energy level looks like next week. Y'all remember this week. That's all I ask y'all to do. Remember this week.
I'm not coming.
And this energy, because you got to. It's 100. It's 100 next week. It's a celebration.
Oh my God.
But we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, the first high school rankings of the year. You're watching the Focus TV. All right, welcome back to the Focus TV. Shout out to Rodney reminding me about things that I wrote down because I evidently can't read or my comprehension skills are not of par to start off 2019. I wrote this, yet I missed this. Still, we're going to look at the 2019 high school rankings, and then after that, getting onto the college side of things. Again, first 2019 high school rankings, so much happened. There's a lot of shakeup on both sides. Cardell gave you guys a little spoiler on Twitter. There is a whole lot of changes to these rankings. And we'll see you guys right afterwards to jump into the college side of things. So the highlight we're seeing, Cardell was on hand for CSM as they upset PGCC. All right, so despite 27-point, rebound effort from sophomore Alex Morales, you guys remember him, came in studio with PGCC that night. It was before we closed the year. Man, 27-18, that's crazy. He also had a triple-double during the span. Between the last time they were in the studio and their season really getting underway. But Prince George's Community College did fall 105-100 to the College of Southern Maryland in the Maryland Junior College Athletic Conference play. All right, so that's Maryland JUCO Conference play action this past Friday. Southern Maryland was led by point guard Jason Newman's 28 points and 10 assists. Southern Maryland outscored PG in the paint 66-48 while shooting 59% from the field. So that's definitely, obviously not a great night for Prince George's in terms of defense. 66-48 to paint is crazy. That means they get nearly whatever they want.
Yeah, excuse me, I'm coming through.
59%. That's a crazy clip right there. Very, very crazy clip. All right, so you brought you had the Maryland score at halftime.
Yes.
What was the update, if you don't mind?
It is 43-37 for Maryland's women over Nebraska.
Thank you so much. So the reason this is important is this past weekend, Samar, shout out to Samar, he was on hand. Get over to Mamano Sports and check out his gallery. Also get over to Finest Magazine. You know, we got to get those shameless plugs in real quick. Junior Kyle Charles had 24 points. Fellow junior Stephanie Jones had 16, and Maryland was able to hold off Ohio State 75-69. It was a rematch of last year's Big Ten title game. And the reason it was important for Maryland was they lost their opening game in conference play to Rutgers. So that was Coach Freeze's 499th career win, which is why this was so important. And tonight, as Octavia provided you with the update, if they can hold on for another half, she gets to hit 500 for a career. So shout out to her if they're able to hold on in Nebraska. And yes, you profess your undying love for Brenda Freeze during the last break. All right, so GW men's. Again, this is Cardell. I'm just sharing this with you. Behind 6'2" sophomore Terry Nolan's first career double-double. Gotta love when guards get boards. Game high at 23 points and 12 rebounds. The Colonials were able to secure a 1-0 record in the new conference season with a 70-56 win. It didn't start well for GW, but the Buff and Blue quickly found themselves down 14-2. So shout out to them for that. That's a big rally to start in that type of hole. They trailed by 10 with 37 seconds left in the first half. But, they played the role of Rocky in Philly, and despite the hostile environment, they came back. Brown finished with 20 points for the Hawks, but it took them 23 shots to get there, so defense was played by the Colonials. They harassed St. Joe's into shooting just 32% from the floor, including 17%. I'm sorry, I had to double check the number.
Like, is this right?
Yeah, 17% from three-point range.
Ooh.
So straps.
Ooh,
yeah, straps.
Don't shoot no more threes against them. Yeah.
Shout out to GW. To the women's side, they had a nationally televised game to open A-10 play. Yeah, it's conference play.
Yeah,
in college
it's a
basketball.
good time.
Both sides. It's officially real. Everything now matters. They visited. GW was at home. They hosted visiting Fordham Rams, and they lost 50-38. Unfortunately for GW, their offense doesn't quite get the ball up in time. And Fordham led wire to wire after a 20-4 start. Unlike the men, they weren't able to rally. Despite the fact that GW actually won the rest of the game 34-30, that initial start, that going down 24, they just can't climb out of that hole. And we all know in sports, especially basketball, it is a game of runs, but it takes so much energy to dive out of 10-point, 15-point deficits.
Does.
But when you go down super early, it's even bigger hill to climb. On the Bowie State's men's, juniors Cameron Hayes and Saquon Jameson combined for 39 points. Fellow junior David Bell. It's a junior party tonight. We talk about with women's, with Maryland women's, Bowie State men's. David Bell added a dozen points to help Bowie State defeat Livingstone 82-69 on Monday. The win, which was Bowie State's second in a row, puts the Bulldogs at just one game under 500, but more importantly, they're 7-8 on the year. They're 3-1 in conference play, 3-1 in the CIAA. From a team standpoint, neither team shot the ball very well, but I thought we did a good job defensively, holding the leading scorer, that's Roger Ray, coming into the game at 3 of 18 shooting from the field. That quote coming from Bowie State head coach Darryl Brooks. That was a tough team to play against, but our guys played tough, and I'm really pleased with the win also from Coach Brooks. I'd be pleased with that win too. 7-8, obviously, on a bigger picture, you're a game under 500. As we just said about conference play, this is the equalizer. You're 3-1 in conference play, and that That goes a long way.
Yeah, it helps.
In a slow start. In terms of team statistics, Bowie State dominated the glass, holding down a season-best 59 rebounds and knocked down 37 of 49 free throws.
Oh,
the Bulldogs made
that's
more free
good.
throws and Livingstone made field goals.
Oh, wow.
So 37 made free throws to 21 made field goals. That's crazy. The game also featured 54 total fouls and 7 technical fouls.
Oh, gosh.
On the Bowie State men's, before we wrap things up, Bowie State women's, I apologize. Junior, I'm about to butcher your name. I am so sorry.
We apologize in advance.
Kyasia Williams recorded a double-double, 13 points, 14 rebounds. Big double-double. A lot of boards tonight. Very happy.
It is. A lot.
Makes
Look
me
at
happy.
y'all getting rebounds.
13 points, 14 boards. And they were able to beat Livingstone as well, 49-40 in the AC Jordan Arena on Monday evening. Redshirt senior Perry Alexander added 9 points, 8 rebounds, and went 4-4 from the free throw line as the Bulldogs improved to a CIAA North leading 12-1 overall record. They're cooking.
That means they're beating everybody.
Everybody. Only one
Everybody
team is
could get
conquering them. And in conference play, more importantly, that one loss didn't come in conference play. So they're 4-0 conference play.
Oh, yeah, they cruising.
Livingstone was led by Deja Harris with a game-high 15 points to go, along with 5 rebounds for the Lady Blue Bears, who dropped to 3-10 on the year and 0-3 in conference play.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely not where you want to be this early in the year. Before we get off tonight's show, DC United update. And a reminder to myself and y'all as well, training camp's like January 21st, so that was a really great break. That wasn't a break.
They don't have breaks.
Quake.
They do not have breaks.
Just want to let you guys know that.
They get a weekend.
That's what it feels like to me. I was like, oh, it's a long time ago. It feels like just a couple weeks ago, Atlanta United just won.
Exactly.
And training camp.
That's what I was like, training camp already? I'm like, look, I don't want to see it.
Like, I read that the other day, and I was just like, the 21st is this month. I'm still trying to process all that. DC United has acquired midfielder Lucas Rodriguez on a 1-year-long loan with an option for a permanent transfer from Club Estudiantes de La Plata of the Argentine Premier Division, pending receipt of his P1 visa and ITC. DC United will send $50,000 of GAM, that general allocation money, to Atlanta and Atlanta United in exchange for the player's discovery rights. Coming from GM Dave Casper, we're excited to add a player of Lucas's pedigree and experience to our roster ahead of the 2019 season. They got another young player. At 21, he's been a consistent starter at the top level Argentine soccer for the last 3 seasons. Has both the Argentine national team and U20 World Cup experience. And he can play any of the attacking positions centrally in the wide areas, which is a big thing because they're trying to figure out if they could still retain Yamil Assad, who plays out wide. So Lucas the fact that he could play a couple of different positions definitely does help if they're not able to retain the services of one Yamil Assad, who had a very good season. The schedule for the upcoming season is already out, and March 3rd hosts the reigning champs, Atlanta, and that's going to be fun. Also, DC United has 13 nationally televised games.
Oh, that's good.
They kind of glowed up last year, just that quick. You know, you get a Rooney, all of a sudden, everyone wants to watch you play.
Yeah, and everybody talk about everything.
Everything. But we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us for our first show of 2019. Yes. We have fun. Again, make sure you tune in next week. Special episode, and make sure Octavia keeps the same energy for an NFL segment. That's what we're going to do.
We can't do that next week.
The penny is here. So keep that on your mind while you're watching a team play, because it's important. But get over to finestmag.com, mymonosports.com, and we'll see you guys next week. And don't forget to follow us on social media, as always, The Focus TV, because, there's more games this week.
Fly Eagles fly.
Yeah, all right, same energy. Same energy.